All right. Hello. Welcome back to After Reality. It's your host, Courtney Robertson here. How's everybody doing? So, I watched the interview with Rachael Kirconnell live. Look, I was wearing the same matching outfit, and I have a lot of thoughts and a lot to say. I don't know if I can get it all out right now because I've got kids that I gotta go take care of. But um, Man, I hope everybody's having a great day except Matt James. And I've heard he's lost a ton of followers. She's going up and up. I just want to start off by saying I think Rachel did an amazing job. And I felt a little icky for her today in the sense that I have been through a public breakup. I was with The Bachelor. We had a rocky start as well. So I can put myself in her shoes. But I always like to talk about this stuff so it's relatable for everybody. Yeah, going on The Bachelor isn't super relatable, but we can all relate to heartbreak. And watching that interview, I was going to do a live watch along, and I know a lot of people have covered it. She's All Batch did an episode last night. Shout out to Stephanie and Jackie and Chad Colchin. He is my favorite. He has a YouTube channel. He did a watch along. I just don't have the bandwidth right now. I'm still trying to figure out my setup. Uh, Everybody's chiming in. And I'm just thankful that I didn't go through a breakup during this era because it's very heartbreaking. And watching Rachel Kirkconnell on Call Her Daddy was painful to watch. I feel like if I could put myself in her shoes, she has whiplash. Uh, she was coming back from Japan. I mean, it was a great watch, but I also felt kind of sad for her. And I guess what I was touching on is we've all been through breakups. Maybe they met in this, circumstance, but they've been together for 4 years. They broke up once after his season. And there were so many things that I could relate to being a contestant on The Bachelor and feeling she touched on the fact that, like, how do I say this? That and I felt this way too, that it was like his world, I just lived in it, because he was the star of the show, and we had this kind of rocky ending, and a lot got put on me, and a lot got put on Rachel. But they overcame that, and they were together for 4 years, and I think it goes across the board. I mean, haven't we all been in a relationship? And if, she really wants marriage and kids and all this stuff. And the fact that she was blindsided is just so, so, so bad. I think that is like the worst thing a man can do to a woman is string her along. And if you know that she wants all these things, he could have gotten her a ring. You know, even it was I will say the interview was a little bit long on the top end as far as, because I watched the show, but it was interesting to hear her talk about the fantasy suites and how she had to be prepared for, you know, anything that was going to happen and if producers were going to pull the wool over her eyes. So, but the fact that he told her like I'm not ready to get engaged then. And like it's like what Oprah always says, like when somebody shows you themselves, believe it. And I would have gotten out at like 2 years if it was me personally, but also I didn't realize her age. I think she said she's 25 now, I want to say. Don't get mad at me about the facts. I've had a lot going on this week. Some really exciting stuff coming up, and I've just been trying to prepare for that and get used to doing this video and the YouTube anyway, but um at 25, I went on the show when I was 28, and I had just started thinking about, like, settling down, wanting marriage, wanting kids, and she's got in my 20s, I guess I'll put it this way, I spent probably way too long. I always call it, like, stuck on stupid, and just for one guy in particular, but somebody who just kind of said all the right things, the actions weren't meeting up. So there's a lot to unpack with this breakup. But like I said, I wanted to do the watch along, and then I just started feeling sad for her. She's clearly heartbroken, and I'm proud of her for taking that platform and running with it. It'll be interesting to see what Matt does next. I don't really care. I was never a big fan of Matt James. I think that ABC should go back to getting the bachelors that I mean, I think it goes back to casting. I'll just put it that way. This guy was plucked from the sky. He knew Tyler Cameron. I mean, her saying that they were, like, basically breaking down the set because he didn't give them what they wanted. I'm sure ABC is not doing any favors for him, but you know what would be epic? Put Rachael Kirconnell as the Bachelorette. Clearly seems ready, and I think Matt really screwed the pooch. I personally think Rachael, from everything I've seen, is out of his league, and from listening to that interview, I think he's got a massive ego. He's probably a narcissist. And I would tell Rachel this. There's a book that's called The Wizard of Oz and Other Narcissists. She should read it. And that will heal her little broken heart. I would love to chat with her at some point, even just offline, having lived through a public breakup that I was only with my bachelor for like a year. So anyway, but so the meat and the potatoes of the podcast interview, basically, she was like, we were in Tokyo and I didn't pick the right restaurant. And I'm just giving you the brief rundown because I was watching the interview like, okay, I want to hear this. There were 225,000 at least people watching live, like holy pressure. And I think there's already been like 1 million downloads on Call Her Daddy. Wow. I'm sure she has been feeling a lot today. And actually, she took to her Instagram and she did her first post, which was like, I still love you, Tokyo. And it's really sad because you can tell their pictures. Yeah, still love you, Tokyo. And you could tell that Matt took these pictures. I wonder if I could show you this, you guys. Like, she looks so happy. I mean, clearly she was blindsided. But yeah, she took to her Instagram and just thanked everybody today. I just wanted to thank you for the love and the support. Everything feels scary and discouraging right now, but I believe everything happens how it is meant to, and I know it will be okay. It's a blessing to be able to feel things and let them hurt. Life is a messy and beautiful thing, and I'm thankful for all of the ups and downs it brings. Love you guys. So, just want to give her a lot of love right now. Proud of her for sharing her side of the story. I'm sure that was not easy. I hope she never talks to Matt again. I think that she should just ghost him. I'm sure he's feeling the pain and the wrath of it. Part of me, though, watching that interview was like, did he just have an off night? Like, was he drunk? Did he drink too much sake at the restaurant that she felt so much pressure to like organize? And she had shed 2 tears at the dinner, and then that seemed to be the straw that broke the camel's back when they got back to the hotel. And basically, he said something along the lines, I'm sorry, I don't have my notes right now, of, "I just don't know if I see you as my wife," or, I can't envision marrying you." And that's the ultimate gut punch. Like, 4 years later, I would have been like, "That's all I need to hear." But he was like, "If you can get upset so easily and picturing you as a mother," like, he said some really cutting words to her, and I've been in a relationship like that with the one guy that wasn't so good to me, where he would say things, for example, he was a single father, and, I knew I was, like, God, 33 when I met him, I think. We dated very on and off for 2 years, and I knew I wanted a family. I knew that was important to me, but I also got to see how he was as a father, and truth be told, I wasn't that impressed. Hate to say it, but he was kind of a Disneyland dad, so to speak. But I remember he would say things to me like, "Oh, if we could just have a good stretch of things and maybe we'll get there." And by the way, I was like, there's so many red flags from you too. So maybe I'll share more on that at another time. But anyway, he would say things to me like, "I think you're too selfish to be a mom," or he would say things that were very manipulative to me when it's like, "Well, I want a family. I wanna start a family, like, someday." I wasn't even, like, going for that, but he would say things to me that hurt me and that were very cutting. So, as a woman, when you hear a man say to you, like, "I just don't envision you as my wife," after 4 years, bye. Like, don't talk to him again. Call me, don't call him, don't text your ex. And maybe he was having an off night. Maybe he did drink too much sake, but the fact that he posted And this is the kicker, the breakup announcement, the way that he did, and I said this when I had Reality Steve on, not cool. Not cool at all. I don't know if he's got somebody waiting in the wings, but girl, I mean, who's gonna sign up for that? A guy who's like, "I'm gonna date you for 4 years?" Like, he's not getting any younger or any cuter, by the way. I never found him attractive. So, anyway, I'm not gonna shit on Matt James. There's always 2 sides to every story. I could see him going on Nick Viall's podcast. Maybe Nick could give him the business. Uh, we'll see. But I just wanted to say, Rachael, bravo. I was going to do a watch along, but it just feels not good for me having been through this public breakup. I have been in your shoes. It was a different era a long time ago. You go on this show, however you get on it, you take a big swing, you put yourself out there. And I think that's what's relatable for all of us on the pursuit of happiness is finding your person, and it's not always easy. Maybe, someday hopefully can look back and be like, "Wow, that was a blessing in disguise." Like, find a guy that will make the reservations, open your car door, and plan all the trips and do all the things for you. You know, it's your world now and you're the star of your show. So I can't wait to see what happens next for her. And quick little episode for you today. I have got some exciting stuff coming up that I've been preparing for. And I'm not really used to being on video, but go follow my YouTube channel. And until next time, I'm your host, Courtney Robertson. And this has been After Reality. Adios.